Hey folks, it's Rod with Win by Doing. I've been watching quite a few videos out there, and I really just thought I'd want to dig into the numbers a little bit. And I really had questions about, should a person quit their day job to sell on eBay? And as you see by the screen there, this is going to be my own personal analysis. By no means am I an eBay selling expert. I have just begun in November of 2016. I currently only list about right around 700 items. It'll fluctuate between 6 and 8. I source from thrift shops. I source from from the mom and pop shops to Goodwill. I went over and looked at the bins or the Goodwill outlets once and hadn't decided if that was quite for me yet or not. I do online auction sourcing. I do sourcing through Facebook marketplaces, and I haven't really found anything. I constantly look on Craigslist, I just haven't found any deals for what I was listing. I've learned a lot over the last 4 or 5 months, and I know that there's a lot still out there to learn, but I'm doing okay with it. So I know that I have a full-time job. This is something I do on the side. It's something I anticipate doing on the side for quite some time. But I just really wanted to dig into the numbers and see, see what I found. So this is what I have found. I'll go ahead and drop the screen. I've created this spreadsheet. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the link below. Put a link to it down below so that you guys can play around with it and do your own investigation. Do your own numbers, adding all your calculations yourself before making that jump. But this is going to be what I found. Okay, so I know this looks massive, but we'll go over it and I'll show you kind of what I've done here. Now, a lot of the people that I've watched, you see, a lot talked about, that sweet spot anywhere from 12, 1300 upwards of 17, 1800 listings a month. So that's where I'm starting my number. And all these fields here are editable, and I'll show you kind of where they work as we go along. But based on 1,500 items listed, if you can follow there, and I don't know, my sales rate is not 1%. That's something you guys are going to have to figure out on your own based on the records that you're keeping. But I'm just putting a daily sell through rate of 1%, and I'm going to change that because I don't know how to spell. Well, I do know how to spell. I just spelled the wrong word there. Your average sale price, I went ahead and put in there at $15. Some people say that they can sell things, $18 to $20. I personally, if I can get $15 to $16, I feel pretty lucky, especially on clothing. But some items surprise me. But I'm just going to put in their average sale price of $15. And I went ahead and listed out and left these editable just in case the fees change. I put 9% in there for final value fees for a store and 10% for an individual seller. PayPal fees, it's like 2.9% plus 30 cents an item that you sell. And then number of days a month. So if you want to, you can change it to 28 if you want to figure it out for February, whatever. Hours per week sourcing. This is gonna vary. I mean, some people are gonna source constantly, and this isn't gonna figure in your gross and your net. It's going to really break down your hourly um, rate that you consider you're taking home based on the work that you're doing. Times the list per item in minutes. I went ahead and put an average of 6. Time to package 5. And again, these are all purely editable based on where you're at. Deliver packages to the post office daily. That's an hour. If you're to and from dropping the packages off. Average cost of goods. I put $2 in here. I understand that if you're shopping at the bins, you can get things by the pound. You're paying less than $1 for. A lot of folks in the country may not have a bins in their location. They may be purely sourcing thrift shops, garage sales, what have you. So that can be changed based on what your average cost of goods is. And again, you're going to have to find that out through your records. But for this example, I'm just going to put $2. Then I went ahead and figured in this is taken, I took it off, went online and did a search and found the national average for state and local sales tax is 9%. Now, if you're registered as a business and you can purchase everything, saying you're purchasing it for resale, and you should be able to bypass sales tax. I personally haven't done that, so I know our sales tax is right at 6%, but I just decided to go with the national average, 9%. So that's going to fluctuate depending on where in the country you are. Then I figured in, because we all have to pay taxes, we're considered self-employed, and because we don't have an employer that's paying these taxes, we are responsible for it. So I went in and threw in their average income tax rate, 14%, Medicare, 2%, and 7% for average Social Security tax. And an important one, and the only reason I threw this in here, for a family of 4, average insurance premium, figure right at $1,000. This is what I'm tying it into. Many people that work usually have some sort of health benefits. So you can lower that. You can take it to 0 if you don't want to figure that in a calculation, if you figure the job that you have isn't providing insurance. But for my example, because I do have insurance for my family, I would have to get something, supplement that if I lost my current job. So these are all editable fields that you can change if you want to take this and play with it when I after I put it out there. And just up here in the top left hand corner, this is going to be your seed money. I mean, if you're not planning on building up to this 1,500 item and you want to go out and get 1,500 items and list like a mofo that for a week to get your inventory up there, this is just basically taking your listing goal times the average cost of goods. It's $3,000. Of course, I didn't figure in there. I could easily take that total and let's go ahead and do this. We're going to add in that times your average sales tax, because more than likely, unless, like I said, you're claiming tax exempt because you're purchasing this stuff for resale, you're going to pay tax on that item. So that actually takes the total up to $3,252.20, tax included. I did also put in a precursor. These calculations are very high level. The below items needed for the business are not accounted for. So what I'm showing you through this spreadsheet, it doesn't count for shipping supplies, because you're gonna, a lot of things you can get for free off of the USPS website. You can get free boxes through local department stores, hardware stores, wherever you want to try to source free boxes. You but you're going to need tape, you're going to need paper, you make sure you have a printer and ink and everything to print your shipping labels. You're going to need bins or something so that your inventory isn't just laying on the floor like you see some of my patterns sitting back here waiting to be listed. You're going to need your cell phone if you're planning on doing listings through cell phones. If you're not using the cell phone, you're using strictly PC, you're going to need a camera. It's gonna be helpful. It's not completely necessary when you're first starting out, but if you're gonna plan on starting with your 3,000 items, you might as well get lighting, and you need a PC if you don't already have one. You need your internet connection. If you have a high-speed internet connection, you're probably talking anywhere from, depending on how fast the speed you're wanting, anywhere from 30 on up, over 100 for high-speed internet. Don't forget your fuel that you need to get to sourcing, to get to the post office, to get to buy your supplies, and of course when you're out sourcing all day long, your meals as well. So I just want to put that a precursor out there. I understand this is not perfect math, but I just want to kind of go over what I came out with. Right here we have the different tiers for selling on eBay. You have individual sellers. There's no monthly cost, and you get 50 free listings. Basic store, $24.95. And I'm basing this off a monthly subscription. I know you can get that lowered to $19.95. All the stores you can get lower if you pay for an annual subscription. And the number of free listings for the basic store is 250. Premium store $74.95 with 1,000 free listing, and Anchor's $350 with 10,000 free listings. And this is going to be very important, and which we'll talk about right now. Kind of broke this out, and this is what it's going to cost. The cost of selling your items on eBay, all the costs that are associated with it. So if you want a total of 1,500 items, because that's what we put in our goal up there, and just to kind of give you an idea how the spreadsheet works, if I change this to 2,000 up here, you'll see that the numbers change to reflect that. So let's go back to 1,500, and if you'd like, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger now that we've gone over the top. So you have 1,500 items here. And I've got this broken down by each of the account types. So it's going to take into account your number of free listings. Then you have your paid listings. And depending on the tier you're at, it's going to determine how much you get charged to list as an insertion fee for those items. So for an individual seller, it's 30 cents. Basic store, like I have, is 20, 10 for premium, and 5 for Anchor. And I know they do run sales where you can get additional free listings and stuff like this. Like I said, this is just high level, and this is the base to start with. Based on that information, this breaks down the additional monthly fees beyond the free listings. So after you paid gotten your free listings, this basically takes the paid listings, the ones you're going to pay for because you've gone above and beyond your free listings to get to your 1,500. It's going to take it times the insertion fee per item and give you the additional fees you're going to pay to maintain those 1,500 items in your store. These numbers right down here, this is just our gross sales. All these numbers are going to be the same simply because we're saying this is based on the sell-through rate. Now, if you go up here and you change your sell-through rate, let's say you're doing really well and you hit 5% daily sell-through rate, you'll see that your daily sales has increased. But for this example, we are just using one. Mine's lower, to be honest with you. Some people's may be higher. So based on the 1% sell rate sell through rate, you have 15 items you're going to sell daily. And this times our average cost, which we put at $15 up there, this is how much you're making daily. $225 in sales. And just as another precursor, I did not include shipping in here. I charge shipping, so to me, I figure it's just a wash. I might come out a little bit ahead with the discounts and stuff, but like I said, this is just a base for you to start with when trying to figure it out. So at $225 a day, that equates up to $6,750 monthly, and a grand total of $81,000 in sales in a year. Man, that is impressive. I made $81,000 this year. Well, that's when we have to get down to our profit. That number is pretty impressive. But now we're going to break it down to cost of goods to maintain 1,500 items. This is with tax. You figure we put up there $30 a month, 30 days in a month, times the average cost of goods, which we put at $2, times the number of items you sell in a day. So if you sell 15 items a day, you take that times 30, and then you add in your tax. Or you take that times 30 to give you how many items you're replenishing in that month, and you take it times your average cost, which was $2, and then you add your sales tax on top of that. And that's what these numbers are going to come from. They're constant across the board. Now, this is where, when I talked about the additional fees for your paid listings, this is where those come into account. For an individual account, you're going to pay another $435 in fees, $250 for a basic store, $50 on premium, and $0 on anchor because you haven't reached that 10,000 mark. Then we're going to go into our final value fees, which I gave the percentage up there. This is the final value fees. And this is actually going to be low because I didn't take into account shipping, which I may have to come up with another version of this to include some shipping calculations. But you're going to get charged that percentage against your shipping as well. So the numbers are going to be just a little bit skewed because of that. Next there we have our PayPal fees, which the PayPal fees are going to be the 3%, 2.9% times your total, your total sales, and then you have to add in the 30 cents per item. So you take your 15 items times 30 days times 30 cents. So you're adding that in there as well. Then you have your monthly store fee. Of course, for an individual seller, you don't have monthly store fees, and then you have your different tier pricing there. And then the total fees with unsold listings, because the thing is, you're still paying, you have to pay every month to have those listings out there. So that's just, so that's what that means, is it's for the total fees, including those items that are sitting out there in your inventory month to month. This is the totals on it. So for basic store, $24.24, $21.96 for, basic $21.96, and so on. Which then takes us down to the net profit. And you can see this will kind of show you where it's worth getting the store. And it almost looks like, based on these numbers, it would almost benefit you, if you're going to maintain that 1,500 items, to even go to a premium store. And like I said, don't use this to make your decisions, because who am I? I'm just a guy on the internet. This is my math. And that's why I'm going to let you guys have a copy of this spreadsheet, or have a link to it. You can save it down to your local, or save it over and and play around with it. So now we're going to go to annual estimated take home. So basically what I took, this is probably the numbers you're looking for. I took this net profit and I took it times 12, and this is your gross profit based on this model. So as you can see, instead of 60 to 80 grand, based off my calculations, you're down to anywhere from 51 to 56 and a half, which, that's good. I mean, that's a good salary. That's for, starting your own business and getting going. That's pretty decent. Now, what I did do is I subtracted out insurance, because especially if you have a family, you need to make sure they're covered. So these are the numbers that you want to. They're going to be key to determine if your full-time job is worth quitting to pursue your online eBay business, or any. Well, this is strictly eBay. If you are not making, if you're getting benefits at your full-time job, and whatever benefits, that the company may or may not be providing for, this is what you need to compare it to. If you're not making at least this amount, or if you're making more and it's your freedom that you're wanting to, you're taking the value of being your own boss and all that, which is all fine and dandy, then this is where you make your decision on whether you want to quit your job to become a full-time reseller. It really boils down to where you are in your life. So I'm just going to go on through. You got to make sure that you're paying Uncle Sam and your local state governments, Social Security, because now that you're on your own boss, you have to pay that in, as well as your Medicare. That's. Let me make sure. Make sure I have that right. Yeah, that's Medicare. Sorry about that. So anyway, when it boils down to it, your take home is right over here. And I went in and broke it down. If insurance doesn't mean anything to you, then that's your take home without insurance, and then this is your take home with. So you can see the amount you have left at the end of the year to spend. I mean, there it is. That's what you're living off of after it's all said and done. And then I just broke it down. This is where I put in there your average times. This all takes into account the calculations at the top of the spreadsheet. If I scroll out up there, and I want to say, let me make sure I didn't take this against the wrong number. Total hours, J37. Yeah, I mean, this really should be taken against this. Let me make sure I didn't screw that. Okay. Sorry about that. I did that is a flaw. I was taking it against your take home. I really want to take that against E44. Wait, where did I put J37? Oh no, I didn't. This is okay. This is right. This is taken against your monthly profit divided by the number of hours that you put in a month. And you know what? These are going to be, I mean, up here for your sourcing, I put in there, let's see, where did I put my, I only put 15 hours. I mean, people are putting in more hours in that sourcing. I mean, if you're going out there and say you're going 3 times a week to the bins to replenish inventory, your time 3 to 4 hours probably to do that from what I'm hearing. Um, so right there is, if you're putting 4 hours a day 3 times a week, which may not be enough, you know, I guess that's only 12. I mean, you're gonna have to play around. I just put an average of 15. I don't spend that much time sourcing, but I'm also doing this part time. But it's really just digging down into the numbers to determine. So this is what your hourly rate is based off of those numbers. Now again, I'm not here to tell you not to quit your job. I'm not here to tell you to quit your job. I'm just saying you have to make that decision yourself. You have to dig into the numbers and find out what works for you. I put this spreadsheet together because I think that you can get a lot of I really think that you can get a lot of use out of it. So it's going to be out there. Again, all of these totals out here are editable. Everything else is kind of locked down. So um, I hope you find it useful, and play around with it. There's a lot of those rates are going to be determined by you. How much time you're spending listing, how many times you're spending sourcing. This was just one example, and I just wanted to walk through, show you what I found out, and hopefully give you a little bit more precise picture into the numbers behind selling on eBay. And I know there's things that I've forgotten. I know there's flaws in it. The shipping is the big one because I did not account. I mean, if you're selling clothes, for instance, and your average cost is $15, I mean, you're probably talking. We'll go a low estimate and say $250 an item for shipping. Well, you have to take that. You take that $250 per item shipping times the 15 items a day times 30 days. And we'll go ahead and do that real quick. There, right there is how much you spent in shipping over the month. Now you've recouped that back, more than likely you're charging your customers shipping. But now, what you're not recouping back is the 9%. So I did something wrong there. Oh, that should be 9%, not 90%. So there's another $100 a month or $1,200 a year you have to account for, and I would almost I believe that you're also, because if you're going through PayPal to pay for your shipping, you have you probably got the. I would have to double check. I'm not going to quote that on the, because I can't remember, and I don't, to be honest with you, I don't even know if I check to see if you're paying the 4%. No, you're not. You're only paying the percent on items that you sell using PayPal. Buyers do not pay the percentage. Anyway, right there, we just identified a $1,200 mistake in this, in the logic behind this. But I think it'll give you a good enough picture, and give you. I hope it just gives you a tool to, look at it and get a little bit better picture of the numbers behind it, just to give you, level out your expectations. I know, me personally, I'm not going to get to $1,500 or 1,500 items anytime soon. I mean, I do it part time, but I think that at some point I'd like to. I really would, but I have too many other things that I do, especially now that summer's gearing up. We are getting ready to sell some ice cream. So anyway, with that, just so you know, if you've been following some of my other videos, the truck I had down, I found a mechanic, did a great job. As far as the truck starts up, we went ahead and converted the throttle body injection over to a new manifold and carburetor. Took a little bit to fine tune it in there, dial it in, but now it starts up and purrs almost like a kitten. I mean, we still got to do some final timing. I have to go get a timing light to do that, but that's pretty exciting for us. But of course, with that, I have to get 4 new tires for it. I have to go buy an inverter. I have to go buy some Deep Six batteries to run the inverter so I can keep my ice cream cold. And I have a mechanic going. He's gonna look at my little Jeep as well. So I'm gonna have to buy freezers for that if he can get it running pretty smooth. So things are looking up in the ice cream concession area. But as you've been, if you watch my other videos under the playlist for converting a old trailer to a concession stand, you'll see how I'm spending a lot of my other spare time. So keep my fingers crossed I get that done. I mean, with all the rain, the one thing is the beaches aren't going to open up anytime soon. At least the one where that one is, we're planning on putting in. So that's going to buy me a little bit more time. But on the flip side of that, if it's raining all the time, I can't get the other trucks out to sell ice cream to make more money to buy the stuff needed. But God willing, we're going to have 3 rigs on the road along with 2 concession stands, which is my original side hustle, as I've mentioned in my other videos. If you want to, if that's something you think you would like to try out, I do have a book, a little ebook sitting out there on my website, Win by Doing. It's not a $3.99 book, to be honest with you. I mean, there's a lot of information in there. I mean, I put a lot of heart and soul in that book, so I didn't want to just send it out to Amazon. That's just my little plug for the book. To be honest with you, I haven't sold one of them. And I've really gotten to the point where I haven't got to the point where I really care that I haven't sold one, because there's just sometimes you don't want to give all your secrets to everybody and then the competition to move in. But I think we live in a different area that we've been doing it for about 5-6 years now, and I think we're pretty much rooted into the community. But anyway, if you know anybody interested in doing ice cream business, I lay out everything and how we do it as cheap as we could, because I'm a frugal business guy. My wife, we both are. We try to do a lot of the work ourselves, and when we can't, we do end up farming out. But we're finally to the point where we're hiring employees, so that's pretty exciting. But just like everything, it is a lot of work. It's going to be interesting this year, working with the concession ice cream business, maintaining the eBay business. I've been letting my blog slack a little bit. I've been slacking on that a little bit, so I need to start getting some more posting on there. It's just finding enough time in the day. But hey, if it was all easy, they wouldn't call it work, huh? And it's a constant hustle. And I think that once you get past and you realize that, and you just press on and keep trying. I mean, that's where the name that for my blog and everything else, Win by Doing. I'm sure you've heard this many times throughout your life. You're not going to get anywhere sitting on your ass, and that's pretty much my philosophy is, start now. But anyway, this wasn't meant to discourage anybody from getting into eBay thing. I just wanted to present my view on it. You're going to hear probably 30 other different calculations or figures that people are going to throw out there at you that are probably going to be different than mine. But I tried to lay it out as best as I could, that I could understand it. And yeah, so there it is. Anyway, I will catch you later. Peace out.